2 weeks left to go in the NRL before the playoff finals, so let's get picking round 26. But first, we got to check out what happened in round 25, and there were at least a couple of shocks here, because the first game on Thursday 28th was West's Tigers versus Sea Eagles, and, well, a few people predicted it, but I did not. Why did Sea Eagles by 18? And they lost by 8 to Tigers. What a result for Tigers. It means absolutely nothing to them. And it probably doesn't mean too much in terms of making the playoffs for Sea Eagles. But what a surprise result. A very high scoring game as well. But West's come out on top. No points for me on that game. Next up was Friday and Warriors versus Bulldogs. And I got it right. However, I was 1 point off a close score. I did Bulldogs to win by 10. I just thought they had a much stronger team, more momentum, even away in New Zealand. And they won by 16, and I did them to win by 10. So 1 point off that close score. This is the story of last week, basically. I just did not get the close scores. So 1 point for me there. And that puts Bulldogs into 5th. They are pretty comfortable in the top 8 and are trying very, very hard to make the top 4. Next up was Broncos versus Eels. And as predicted, Broncos are now trying to make a last-ditch push for the playoffs, because I did Broncos by 12. They did only win by 6, but that win is enough for them. They are in 9th at the moment, 2 points off the playoff finals. Well done to Broncos. I'm just annoyed that they didn't do this earlier. That's all. 1 point for the win. Next up was Raiders versus Panthers, and for Pete's sake, 22-18. I did Panthers by 12. They lost by 4. That puts Panthers down to 4th place now. It is literally level, 2nd, 3rd and 4th. All on 36 points. But, yeah, the shot difference is not amazing for Panthers compared to the two above them. That's frustrating. Really, really frustrating. It puts Raiders in 12th. Yeah, they're now only they're only 2 points off the top 8. So it's going to be an interesting last couple of weeks to see who makes it into the finals. But I get absolutely nothing there. Disappointing. Next up, though, Storm, showing why now they are the best team in the league. They absolutely ran away with it. I thought 12 points to Storm was going to be a fair result. I thought that makes sense. They ran away with it, and they won by 42 points against Dolphins, who are that one of 4 teams now on 20 points. And it just, 26 points, sorry. I don't know what's gone on there. I really don't know what's gone on there. An absolute mauling, but it does show why Storm are the best team in the league for sure. Next up, we had Rabbitohs versus Knights, and once again, as predicted, Knights won. They won by 20, and I predicted them to win by 10. So that keeps them in the shout. Once again, they are also 2 points behind the top 8. So it's just, there is now sort of, maybe if you include Sea Eagles, but really from 8th to 12th, it is all to play for. It is all to play for in the last 2 weeks. 1 point for the victory. Next up, Sunday was Titans versus Roosters. And if you look at this, annoyingly, 1 point off that close score again. Frustrating. That puts Roosters solidly in 2nd place. They've got a very, very good shot difference. And they won by 26. So 1 point for this one. And Titans, that is their hopes gone of the top 8. Not that they were really going to make it, but it's definitely gone now. The last game of the week was Dragons versus Sharks. I went for a Dragons win. I thought Dragons could sneak it, knowing that they're trying to stay and push into the top 8. I thought they could sneak it, but they did not, because Sharks ran away with it. 28 points, and they get the win. And no points for me for the last game. Let's look at the league table with all of you guys in. Adelaide Bulldog is still numero uno and is almost 3 points clear of Brupel, who has gone up 3 places. Hacksaw, Coolabajul has both gone down 1. Juby up 1. Kazaraza up down 2. Hazy and Aussie Tash up 1. St. Jai down 2. And Otis in the same spot. That is the top 10. Mad Swans fan up 4. The golden hat this week goes to Moppy G. Well done. Broken in, I've taken your 20th spot and you are now in 18th. New Elijah is up 4. Good week for you. Mighty Muffins rule up 3. Pie Boy down 3. Any other movers? Benny is up 2. Just Casey down 3. And that is the league table for this week. On to the penultimate week before the finals then, and we start Thursday the 29th of August. Queensland Country Bank Stadium, Cowboys versus Storm. Both teams on pretty good form, but Storm, they are 6 points clear. They are absolutely running away with it. Now, this is an interesting thing. Have they done enough now to finish top that they can maybe rest some players? I don't know. They don't need to win this game. So that is the only point that I'm going to make here. And I want to go with an underdog. I say underdog. Are they underdogs? They are amazingly favourites. And I think a lot of that goes to the fact that they're at home and Storm don't need to win. So players may be rested. I think it's a much more important game for Cowboys. One more win and they are cemented in the finals. One more win, and that, they're pushing then for top 4, which gets better games in the finals. Do you know what? I'm gonna go with them, or am I? Oh, this is a difficult one because there are issues here. Like I said, Storm don't need to win, but Storm still are the best team in the league now. And even if they rest players, they will probably do enough to win. I know they're not favourites here, but I'm going to go Storm by 6. And that is against the odds. But I still see them doing enough. They want to smash this and really keep the momentum going into the finals. So Storm by 6. But actually, surprisingly, it's not an easy one to call. Next up, Friday, Stadium Australia. It is Bulldogs versus Sea Eagles. This is a tough one to call. Sea Eagles lost last week when they really shouldn't have lost. That was a surprise. That was a surprise loss. Bulldogs, they are in 5th. They are doing very, very well. They have made the top 8. Pretty sure. Yeah, they've made the top 8. No problem with that. Who do I think is going to win? After last week's result, I think that was painful. Sea Eagles have been hit or miss pretty much all season. They've done enough to make the top 8, but they have lost games where they probably should win, and I don't think that bodes well for them. Whereas Bulldogs, their form has been really, really good. You've got no real complaints. I don't think they're at the same level as probably the top 4, but they certainly warrant a 5th place finish here, and they could get higher if results above them don't go the right way. So, yeah, I've got to go Bulldogs. I've got to go Bulldogs here. So I'm going to go Bulldogs. I think probably a tight one as well. Let's go Bulldogs by 6. But I think they are certainly looking like the stronger team and want to keep that momentum going into the finals. And they could cause some issues for the top 4 above them, for sure. Next up, Penrith versus Rabbitohs. And Rabbitohs have been shocking, so they will not win, right? On paper, on statistics, they should not win. Panthers back at Bluebet Stadium, so maybe that's something to go by, but disappointed by the last 2 weeks. I know one of them was Storm, but yeah, disappointed by last week's result. So against Raiders, Panthers are not as good as they were last year, and Storm beating them, but definitely overtook them being the best team in the league. But they should bounce back now. They should. Coming into the finals, they're there. They need to keep that top four for sure. And they face one of the worst teams in the league in Rabbitohs. So they should get a decent result here. And they're looking for a big scoreline. They've got to get a big scoreline now. I don't know if is Nathan Cleary still out. I think possibly. But that shouldn't matter against a Rabbitohs side. That's all I'm going to go with. So I'm going to go with Panthers by 22. Panthers by 22. I think that's fair after the recent results, and they need to get going again. Next up at CommBank Stadium, Parramatta, is Eels versus Dragons. Now, Eels have been piss poor to say the least. Dragons have been inconsistent, but the Dragons are in the top 8 spot and need to hold on to it because they have Broncos, Dolphins and Knights on their coattails. So, yeah, they are coming for them. So Dragons need to, and this is a fantastic opportunity now for Dragons to try and push away and make it tough in the last week. Dragons should win here against an Eels side who, they deserve their bottom spot in the league. That's the main thing. I think Dragons need to seal their top 8 spot, and they should do. So we're going to go with the Dragons win. They're away from home, but they should have enough in the tank to beat Eels. Let's go with Dragons. I don't see them winning by loads. 8. Dragons by 8. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. Suncorp. Dolphins. Broncos. Both teams are at home, so there is no real home advantage. What do we think? Both have not had amazing form, but Broncos do seem to be pushing now. They are pushing for the top 8, whereas maybe the Dolphins' form is slipping a little bit. That's the way we're going. I just think Dolphins have got worse and worse this year, and I don't see them now making the top 8. I think if there's Dolphins, Knights and Raiders, it's Dolphins that aren't going to make it. Broncos really do have the opportunity here. So we're going to go with Broncos. And I think they should win. They should win, and that should give them a chance. If Dragons don't win, which they should, that gives them a really, really good chance going into the final week. So Broncos, let's go by 10 this week. Let's go by 10. Next, PointBet Stadium, Sharks versus Warriors. There should only be one win here. Sharks now found some good form. They could have earlier on in, maybe 5-6 weeks ago, they could have been slipping out of the top 8. That is what's amazing. But they have found form. They are sitting in 3rd on 30. They should win this against a Warriors side who are now coming to Australia. They are playing against a Sharks side who's on form compared to Warriors, who've only won one game in the last 7. I'm impressed by what Sharks have been able to do. They got out of their rut, and they have now sealed their place in the finals. So Sharks should win here. I'm going to go Sharks by 18. A confident 3-try, 3-conversion win for them there. Then, Sunday, McDonald Jones Stadium. It is Knights versus Titans. Both teams very similar form. Knights recently have won a little bit more. Knights have the slim chance of making the top 8 as well. I think, it's not an easy one, but I don't see Titans winning this. I really, really don't. I know Knights are going to struggle to make the top 8 still, but there is still that slim chance, and I think it's worth fighting for that. So I'm going to go Knights here, and they should win by enough. Knights by 12 for me here today. They're at home. Titans seem to be the better, have been getting results against the top teams, and I think Knights are not that. So statistically, Knights should win this. That's what we're going with. And the last game is Roosters versus Raiders. This is not a great team to have to play for the Raiders, because Raiders need the win now. They are desperate for the win to try and stand any chance in the last game, but they are against a Roosters side sitting second, fantastic form, playing fantastic rugby league, and it is only going to be a Roosters win, surely, at the Allianz, which is their home stadium. A Roosters win, and a confident Roosters win. And once again, Roosters trying to keep good momentum, good form for the finals. So my final pick of this week is Roosters by 18. So my picks for this week: Storm by 6, Bulldogs by 6, Panthers by 22, Dragons by 8, Broncos by 10, Sharks by 18, Knights by 12, and Roosters by 18. We've got a few bigger scores there. Hopefully they will come through, but there will only be one more week after this week, and it is getting tight to make the finals. It's going to be fascinating. Thank you once again for joining me each week. Well done to you guys that are in the top 10. And yeah, make sure you join me next week. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.